Hey, what's up, everybody? Scott coming back at you. I mentioned I was going to do a video on my PSA Registry editions for the year for my Packers sets. So got a nice little stack of graded cards here that I picked up throughout the year. So I'm just going to go through those. Start out with the first one here. This is a Tauscher and a Chad Clifton rookie card from '05 Topps Total. Clifton and Tauscher, I believe, were rookies before this, but this is their first more popular release card. It's not a Packers police card or something like that. So this is the card we went with for the set. I had subbed one of these earlier in the year, got a 9, so I held on to that one for a while. Picked up this one raw and subbed that one later this past year and came back a 10. So that's one that I subbed myself. Always good when you can knock off 10s on all the modern cards. So, again, this is for the Chad Clifton rookie card. Mark Tauscher was inducted, though, this year into the Team Hall of Fame. So it's actually going to probably be the same card used for both of those players. So that's the first one. Second one, I picked this up. This was an eBay buy it now. Somebody actually had graded one of these and got a 10. I had graded 4 or 5 of these in the past, and all came back 7s or 8s. This border on the back and the front, you can tell that green area, it does chip very easily, so I always had a very hard time trying to get a 10 on these cards. So it was awesome that one of these came up. Probably picked it up for about, if I remember right, about $30 or so. So you can't go wrong with that. You could spend a lot more than that trying to sell and actually get a 10. So that knocked Frank Winters off the list. I believe I had a 9 or 8 or a 9, I think, in that, and I had sent that on to one of the other guys doing the sets. Here we have a Bill Houghton rookie card from 52 Bowman Large. I actually already had this card in a Bowman Small in the grade of an 8, which did satisfy the requirement for the set, but I kind of want to try to get each of these, each of the 3 Packers Bowman cards, which is Bill Houghton, Fred Cohn, and why can't I think of the other guy's name? I'll think of it before the video is over. But there's 3 cards for 52 Bowman. I would like to get them all in large or small. Now I currently have Bill Houghton in large and small. Picked up this card back in January of the year. Actually picked it up along with this card, the Fred Cohn. The Fred Cohn I already have in a small as well, but I had that in the grade of a 9. So this card is a half grade lower than that, but it's still awesome. Very low pop. And this card is the same grade as the smaller version that I have of the Houghton. So, awesome pickups. Picked these up together earlier this year. I think it was this past January, actually. It was right when the year first started, and these sold very cheap, considering what they usually go for. Just one of those right place, right time auctions. So I added those 2 cards to the set. Next card on the list here, Fred Carr. This is one of those cards I had in a 9 already. The difference is a PSA 9 goes for about $20. A PSA 10, I think I spent about $180 or so on this one. These just don't come up very often. So when there was a 10 available, I wanted it at an auction for, I don't remember, I think it was about $180 or something like that. I'd have to double check. But this is only pop 4. So one of the only 4 of the Fred Carr 10s that are out there. So that was an upgrade. Again, if I remember right, I think I sent the one that I upgraded from to one of the other guys. Maybe it was Trav or Pat doing the set. Chester Markle in the grade of a 9. Kind of a cheaper pickup, about $20 or so. But I think there is only one Chester Markle 10 out there. But I was happy with a 9 for about $20. Still haven't seen that 110. Here's a recent inductee, Nick Collins from Bowman Chrome 05. I subbed a number of these and only got 9s. I picked this up from the set leader, Ryan, who was gracious enough to send me a 10 for a pretty fair price. So added the Nick Collins, who's a pretty new member to the set. Howard Ferguson. Got this in the grade of a 9. Super sharp looking card, great colors. I want to say this is like a population of 6 or 8 or something like that. So not a lot out there. There are no 10s out there. So this is a top population card. I had this in the grade of an 8. And I don't remember if I sold my 8 to Troy, another one of the guys that was doing the set. I think that's what I did with it. But super happy to find this in a 9. Very low pop. William Henderson, this card I'd subbed quite a few of too and could only pull 8s and 9s for grades. Finally, after a couple months of trying to persuade Troy, he's a guy that I know from the LLC and the PSA card groups on Facebook. He finally parted with his 10, and I added that to the set. Probably overpaid for it a little bit, but you just don't see these come up very often. Those who have them graded as a 10 probably have them for a reason, and they're not usually looking to part with them. But I was able to upgrade that as well to a 10. Bob Skoronski, rookie card. Had this in the grade of an 8, so just a half grade upgrade this year. Found it in an 8.5. I think this is only a population of 1, and there's only 3 or 4 graded higher than this, or maybe only 2. Not very many graded a 9 though, and I don't think there are any 10s. So was happy for the half grade upgrade. Again, I remember, I think I might have passed the upgraded card on to Troy. And here's that 59 Topps Jim Taylor. You might have seen from the previous video. I had this card in an 8. Ended up selling my 8 to a guy in the vintage football card group to help offset the cost a little bit. Was watching this card for several years. I guess like 2 years. Not really several, but long enough. I probably lost out on 5 or 6 auctions of this card in particular, and finally I won one at a decent price. So was happy to knock that one off. This card has none graded higher. It says NFL Hall of Fame rookie card, Jim Taylor. Then there's these two, the Dowler and the Taylor. Might remember these from the previous video as well. These came together. I ended up emailing the seller. I think it was Cooperstown Sports Cards on eBay. They had these listed for a while. One of the auctions ended and they hadn't sold, and I worked out a deal to buy them both. Such awesome looking cards. Upgraded from an 8.5 and then I upgraded from an 8 on the Dowler. Then here's the Kramer. Again, already have this in a 10, but wanted to pick up a 9 this year before prices really got wacky. We'll know February 3rd whether Kramer is in the Hall of Fame or not. He's a finalist, so my hopes are high, but we'll see officially once he gets in. So this, I just wanted to make sure I purchased this card at the right time before his prices went high. So I'm glad I did that. And the final card was a white whale here. 48 Bowman Buford Ray in the grade of a 7. This was the last card I want to say I picked up for the set that wasn't an upgrade, one that I just hadn't seen. So this came available back in April. Got home, I came home from a vacation and it was a buy it now, and I bought it as quickly as I could because I know how rare these are. I also picked up a 5 later this year. So I do have 2 of them, but you can never have enough of these. They're just tough to find. So this was probably my main find for the year. There's actually a Henry Jordan card I got too, and a PSA 9, which I didn't pull out. But you can remember that from the previous video. That was a pickup for this year too. That was probably my biggest pickup financial wise. And this is my rarest pickup right here, the Ray. Alright, so that's about it. It was a great year for Packer pickups. It's getting more and more infrequent, the pickups I do get, because upgrades cost a lot to get the kind of upgrades that I want to go for. So I'm not getting the same volume of cards that I got earlier in this process, but still fun nonetheless. Any questions? Don't hesitate to ask. Otherwise, thanks for watching.